And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another broadcast. I say another, the first broadcast of the year. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. Great to be back. Great to be here in 2025. Welcome to another broadcast of HomeStory Cup 26, a replay cast of events that have since gone by. There's a bit of a story behind this, but for those that are curious, we of course did cast HomeStory Cup 26 live. We were the B stream. We were the official B stream of the event. There was the main stream going on as well, but of course, something that was happening was that concurrently there were three matches. There were three matches happening at the same time during the group stage. We casted one match, the mainstream casted the other, and every single round there was one series that was not casted. which felt kind of weird, to be honest. It would have been nice if maybe there was like a C stream or something, but every single round there was a stream that was not being covered whatsoever. So here we are, now that we have some free time to jump in and cast those otherwise uncasted games. Oh boy, I'm of course your live VIP, and again, welcome one and all. We did have a cast last night that actually bled over from 2024 into 2025, so we already had our New Year's stream, but now officially I think every time zone has crossed over into 2025. So happy New Year's one and all. Hope you had a great celebration, hope you had a happy holidays, and of course great New Year as well. Hope you're taking care, and we are here to catch up on some StarCraft. Let's go. Let us go. Now, something that I did notice, and I don't know if you saw the scene switching earlier and things looking a little bit chaotic, is that technically there has been somewhat of a patch since HomeStory Cup. HomeStory Cup, for those that are curious, was around a month ago, maybe less than a month ago at this point. So that did occur, and since then there have been some updates to the game, and because of that, trying to cast from replays is a little bit awkward. So we'll see how this goes. We're going to be covering Group A today, we're going to be covering Group B tomorrow, but if the process of casting these replays is a little bit too chaotic, then we might just only cover Group A and forego the other groups. We'll see what happens. It's catching up in the chat. Good morning from Berlin. Buenos dias, papi, buenos dias. When it comes to the matches that we're going to be covering here, again, all the matches that we covered live at the time are already on YouTube. They're already on YouTube from HomeStory Cup 26. Meanwhile, here tonight, we have 5 matches. Let's go. We have 5 matches ahead of us here. We have BattleB versus Fjant to kick things off, followed by Lambo versus BattleB, Nightmare versus BattleB, Skilless versus BattleB, and Ryung versus Jumi. Basically, at the time, BattleB didn't get casted. it's so sad. But as I mentioned before, when we were covering HomeStory Cup 26 live at the time, the mainstream, they picked their matches, and as you can imagine, in this group they were covering like Lambo versus Skilless and Nightmare versus Skilless and all these big names facing off against each other. We were given all of Fjant's games. For those who are curious, we covered like Fjant versus Lambo, Fjant versus Nightmare, Fjant versus Skilless, Fjant versus everyone. That's what we were assigned at the time, and BattleB's matches were left uncasted, which feels a little bit bad, especially because I feel like some of these matches they speak to me, especially the first one. I feel like BattleB versus Fjant is going to be a very close round, and I feel like this can go the distance as well. I do think they're quite close in skill. For the other matches, you know, players like Lambo, Nightmare, Skilless, they are favored against their respective opponents, against BattleB. But yeah, it is kind of sad that, you know, BattleB competed at the time, and I don't think a single one of his matches got casted on the mainstream. I don't think a single one got casted on the mainstream. I think we casted like BattleB versus one of these players like at one point, but yeah, unfortunately we weren't quite able to catch him, so we're here to catch up on some of that BattleB action. As you can imagine, of course, when it comes to HomeStory Cup, is based in Germany, and a lot of local players and local talent did compete here in the event. If you're curious, Ryung versus Jumi stands out a little bit. That is a Group D match. Group D was a little bit different. For Group D, a lot of these series were actually really fast. They were really fast matches, so when it came to Group D, we often finished our series and then we got to jump into the other series. We got to jump into another match like midway through this series. So because of that, we actually casted almost everything in Group D. There's only 2 matches that we didn't cover in Group D, so because of that, we're going to be splitting them between this broadcast and the next. So that is the plan. Otherwise, we're going to be jumping in. We're going to be jumping into our first match of the night, jumping into BattleB versus Fjant. Also, shout out to Kuro, shout out to, of course, Take TV and the people working behind the scenes. They, of course, were able to provide us with their logos at the time. We constructed our overlays from them, and that's why things look a little bit different here with the official sponsors and everything. Again, this is the scene collection that we were using live at the time when we casted the event, and now we're able to use it again. Let's go. Also, if you're curious why we're casting this, you know, a month after the event, well, I wanted to cast this sooner, but we literally had no time. Our schedule was jam-packed throughout the entirety of December. We actually had no time to cast, which is a little bit sad. I wanted to, but yeah, during the month of December, like, it was just so insanely packed, full of casting, full of matches. So it's only just now coming into January that we have some free days to cover some of these replays. So finally, we have some time to go over some of these matches. Let's go. We are jumping into our first series of the night. It's going to be that TvZ between BattleB and Fjant. Again, I do consider them both to be relatively close in skill, both up-and-comers in their respective races, Zerg and Terran in the European region, and we are jumping into game number 1. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the German Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Berserker Esports. It is BattleB. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Swedish Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Roddy. It is Fjant. Here we go. So we are going to be settling in. And again, I could be mistaken, but I think this is one of the first offline events that BattleB is going to be competing in as well, so great to see him. Again, when I think of the up-and-coming Terran players in the land of Europe, coming into 2024, I would have said players like BattleB, like Akedon as well. Nickrat, they do come to mind. Akedon did sort of retire, unfortunately. He did kind of step away from the game. Baby Marine actually came back to the game. If you recall, he did also step away for quite some time, and only recently did start competing once again, and I believe he actually did show up and take part in HomeStory Cup as well, so great to see some Baby Marine action. And there's another player that eludes me. I think I'm thinking of Cuckoo. That's it, Cuckoo. I do think has also kind of like soft retired. What I mean by that is that Cuckoo, he hasn't really been competing in many events over the past year. Did take a step back, did take a step away. No official announcement, I should say, but yeah, has definitely been competing less and less frequently over the past 12 months. But BattleB, he's been there. He's been on that grind. He's been definitely doing well for himself. Some of the highlight moments of BattleB, of course, have been during WTL, during World Team League, when competing for Berserker Esports. Since then, World Team League has been put on hiatus, but I'm happy to see some more BattleB action here and now at HomeStory Cup. Let's go. Let us go. As now we're going to be settling in. So far, going to be a hatch gas pool opener, standard opener here out of Fjant. Did go for the extractor trick early on. I should also, never mind. Did go for the extractor trick early on. It is actually opening up gasless. So my apologies. I just assumed that it was going to be opening up in a bit of a more standard fashion, but no, it is going gasless and is going for the third base. This is a risky maneuver, I would say, especially on a map like Whispers of Gold. Basically, these gasless openers can be very effective, and you can get away with cutting all these corners on some of these more defendable maps. I'm thinking of Abyssal Reef, I'm thinking of Neon Violet Square as well, potentially some of these other just smaller defendable maps. Here on Whispers of Gold, it feels a little bit risky. Something that all the maps that I just mentioned have in common: one, longer resistance by ground, true, but also very easy to rotate between the attack paths and the attack portions of these bases. I'm referring to this section here at the natural and this section here at the third. Here on Whispers of Gold, this does feel a little bit more abusable, so we'll see if Fjant can get away with it. Basically, what Fjant is doing is he is heavily delaying link speed in favor of just more drones, queens, and link production, and his goal here is to defend and minimize losses with only slow links and queens. It's going to be on BattleB to recognize what's going on, to realize how greedy Fjant is being, and to punish this. Someone like Clem, for example, is very good at punishing this kind of opener. We've seen Clem punish Cyril time and time again. I think a good example of that is if you watched Clem versus Cyril at EWC, at Esports World Cup. If you watched us co-streaming that event as well, you'd see us pointing it out game after game after game. Whenever Cyril would do this, and he did it very often in his series, Clem would be there to just dive with 6 to 8 Hellions and just roast a mineral line and just win from there and just get ahead. Meanwhile, Fjant is going to be not just delaying Link speed, but skipping it entirely. We do see the Roach Warren on the way, so again, just gasless opener into Roach play. This can eventually lead into Link speed and into Roach Ravager Ling Bane in the mid game. That is going to be a viable option here for Fjant. Until then, we're going to be roasting up those mineral lines. We do head towards at least a third base. 2 drones going to be going down. This is what I kind of spoke about here, specifically on Wisps of Gold. Rotating the queens between the natural and the third base is not as easy as it is on some of these other smaller, more congested or more consolidated maps. So yeah, so far 2 drone kills, nothing major, but some nice damage here out of BattleB, and more Hellions are amassing. And once again, he does head towards that mineral line. More drones going to get roasted. Gonna get another 2. That's going to be 4 drones in total. 1 Hellion goes down. 1 Hellion for 4 drones. Good trade here by BattleB. Behind this, getting his 3rd TC, going a Hellion going Hellion Banshee. I almost said Hellion Reaper. We're going Hellion Banshee. Cloaker's on the way, getting into Bioplay behind this. Fjant rushing into his own lair, getting into Roach Speed, getting into Roach Ravager. For now, again, he's just trying to defend with the bare minimum. Only has 3 Roaches to defend here at the third base, at the natural location. And again, BattleB, he's just rotating between the bases, threatening a dive, denying creep, and waiting for the next step, the next wave. Now, if he had known that there were only 3 roaches, now would be a good time to just avoid them, to just run past the roaches and go into a mineral line. And this is, again, something that Clem is just really good at determining on the fly, is when your opponent does not have enough to defend, actually, and to just punish the Zerg player. And this would have been a good position for, like, a punish from the Terran. Again, BattleB just playing it safe. He saw a couple of roaches. He doesn't know what's waiting for him, so he doesn't dive. And now more roaches are building up. For a long time, there were only 3. Now we have 5, soon to be 7 roaches. Now there is a large enough army to punish any kind of Hellion dive. So there was an opportunity to punish Fjant, but that window has come and gone. I mean, BattleB did kill, what, 5 drones, which is still good damage, but there was potential for more as he does go into the mineral line. There we go, does dive into the 3rd, and more drones. Oh no, they line up. Oh my god, they do line up. 6, 7 drones going to be going down. And again, these Hellions, they don't really have much value as the game goes on, so now is a good time to trade and to throw them away. 9 drone kills go down. At the same time, Banshees head in between the bases. Oh, but there are queens to defend. The Banshees, they do not get much done. 1 Banshee goes down. That was not as worth it. The Hellion harass was good. The Banshee harass, less so. So at least Fjant gets something for his troubles. Does take down one of the Banshees. The other is 1 shot away from going down. Will barely escape though. Will survive. Does float away. And all in all, so far, a good start for BattleB. Now he's getting his 3rd base up and running and building up his bio army and getting ready for his eventual move out. Building up his Marines, Marauders, tanks, working on his upgrades as well, checking them. He has Stim already, working on combat shields and 1-1. And Fjant is going to attempt to stabilize here with Ling Bane Roach Ravager. There's that Baneling Nest on the way, and Link speed has since completed. Now, Fjant had the option to go for a Roach all-in if he wanted to. He could have, like, cut workers at 3 base saturation at 66, max out on Roach Ravager, go for, like, a +1 range timing, maybe into +2, and then just going all in at the 3rd base. But as we're pointing out here, Fjant is teching up, he's investing into his melee upgrades, so Roach Ravager is merely just a stepping stone for Fjant into Ling Bane. Meanwhile, BattleB dropping into the main base with the tank. Oh my god, a very committed drop. Bold move here by BattleB. Roach Ravager diving in, and I do feel like he has maybe overextended here. The tank is going to go down, the Marines are cleaned up, and Fjant defends. Again, this was a very ambitious drop, and what did he get here? He got a gas geyser. Sure, he traded with Lings, but that wasn't quite worth it here for BattleB. Again, there's a world where instead of going for the drop, he just builds up, right? He just builds up, and then he moves out. Imagine a move out with all those Marines and with 3 tanks instead of 2. And just going for a frontal assault instead here at the 3rd base location. Baneling speed is only halfway done. There was potential. There was potential with this move out, and now there is no move out. And now BattleB expands, gets a 4th. He knows he's going to be stuck at home. He's lost a little momentum. He's being active with drop play, but only drop play. He's keeping his tanks at home. He's expanding, building up more tanks. Second factory's on the way, and Fjant has survived. So Fjanti's kind of made it through the early to mid game, and now he's looking to max out. Fjant can now join up to 80, double jump into the third base or into the fourth base, and there's nothing here. Oh, there we go. Ling Bane is close enough to respond. Forced to pick up, dropping on the high ground. Fjant is somewhat in position. Lings are going down, going for a couple of roaches. Not a bad trade here at a BattleB, trading with the army, but we'll have to back. We'll have to pick up. We'll have to back off. From here, BattleB does get away. Here comes the main push. The supplies are still quite close, though. I do give the edge to BattleB, but there's a world here where Fjant can hold. Now, bearing in mind, Fjant is keeping some supply here in the main base. He also has supply on the right-hand side. Fjant, he misses the move out. He does not see the army, he does not see the push. And now he's getting caught out of position, caught with his pants down. He has to respond. Yeah, everything rotates over. Bailing's not quite ready. And there's not that many Ravagers here. Yeah, nice bits from BattleB. Tanks the Bailings with their tanks, shuts down the Ling Bane, getting on top of the Roach Ravager. BattleB can keep pushing. Oh. At least he can try to bait the Bailings into the tank fire. And he will shut down the Bailings. They will all go down. Ooh, we'll take a Bailing to the face. Another Bailing does graze the army. And with that, Fjant is holding. It did cost him every Bailing though. It cost him all of his Bailings. At least he doesn't lose any workers. The economy is still untouched. 81 drones here for Fjant. BattleB going for a drop on the right-hand side, but ooh, the tank gets caught out. BattleB does get caught. Fjant is going to be able to clean this up. At the same time, BattleB pushing on the left-hand side. He runs into the Bailings. Does run into the Bailings here. Medevac goes down as well, and Fjant can now counterattack. BattleB throwing away a little bit too much. Getting caught out. Likewise, Fjant doesn't have enough here to break the expansion. We have the high ground. We have 2 tanks, soon to be 3. Fjant is taking into Hive Tech into an Ultra Cavern, but again, that is late. It's late tech here for Fjant. BattleB pushing in, catching out some Transferring Queens. Across map, Bling Run By is attempted, but there are reinforcements. BattleB pushing in. Cleans up the Lings, continuing his assault. Fjant's going to try to engage off of Grief. The Bailings, they almost do nothing. Bailings, they get brought down, and with that, BattleB looks like he's going to snowball out of control. 0 Bailings remaining. Without Bailings, how does Fjant hold? He doesn't. Does land a pile, but despite that, the army's going to crumble. The boys are being trying to be pulled away. They get pulled through the army, and BattleB, he snowballs out of control. Again, Fjant, he had some nice moments in this game, that is true, but for the most part, BattleB, he was able to maintain control. Again, early on, BattleB was able to cripple the economy, was able to get his own lead, take his own advantages, and just pull Fjant apart. And with that, the Roach Warren is going to be going down. We see Fjant trying to trickle in with what little he has left. The Ultras have arrived! But they have no upgrades. Yeah, they have +2 carapace, +1 melee. The upgrades are lacking, the Ultras melt, GG gets called, and BattleB takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. BattleB does take the first game here, and does take a lead in the series. Whew. But again, a really intense game. Again, I wasn't too in love with the idea of Fjant opening up Gasless on Whispers of Gold. That does feel like one of the maps that is most abusable. The reason why I say that is because of how short the rush distance is on Whispers of Gold, and how exposed the natural and the third base are from each other as well. As we saw, you know, the Hellions got a lot of damage. There's definitely a world out there where BattleB does even more damage with his Hellions. There was definitely opportunities for him to go for earlier dives, for example, but it was still good damage nonetheless to get into those mineral lines, to roast up the drones, and to wreak havoc. And with that, GG. GG, well played. BattleB did successfully punish Fjant, and did take a lead from there. Never quite let it go. Never quite let it go. Just catching up with the chat. Hello, Lajos, papi, Lajos. Lajos even. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Oz Protos as well. Dominator, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Dimsy. Welcome, welcome. Shema, Papi Shema, of course. And now we're going to be jumping into that second game. Game number 2 is going to be on Amygdala. Okay. I could be jumping into game 2. And we'll see if we can bounce back and force the ace match. Personally, I would appreciate an ace match here. I would always love to see extra games between our competitors. Always, always. It's always my MO. But here we go. We're jumping into game 2 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amygdala. We have the German Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Berserker Esports, leading the series 1-0. It is BattleB. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Swedish Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Team Ruddy. It is Fjant. Here we go. As we are going to be settling in, Fjant once again and going for the 15 hatch, and we'll see if he delays his gas geyser again for the second game in a row. Now, coming into Amygdala, I think I like going gasless on Amygdala a little bit more. I mean, it's complicated. It is complicated. On the one hand, the bases are still very spread out on Amygdala, so trying to rotate between the natural choke point and the third base choke point, whether it's towards the north or towards the south, can be a little bit awkward. That is true. But on the other hand, there's only 2 attack paths, and you can actually see move outs very early on with your Overlord positioning. What I'm referring to, if we did move out with Hellions, for example, towards the left or right hand side, it's very obvious. Because of all these rocks, there's very limited attack paths early on in this game, so it is easier to scout these kind of move outs and to get in position ahead of time. And on the flip side, if you're, for example, harassing the third base here with Hellions, rotating down towards the natural location is not a very easy thing to do here. So because of that, especially if you want to rotate towards the fourth base, for example, you have to go all the way around, or of course knock down the rocks. When the rocks get knocked down, the map does open up quite heavily, but early on, when the rocks are up and running, it's a little bit of a different story. It's a very different story here instead. So we'll see what the plan is going to be here for BattleB. Likewise, Fjant does take an earlier gas this time, so thankfully we don't have to worry about defending with only queens. With this earlier gas, we should be getting into earlier link speed. I mean, I say earlier link speed, a standard link speed timing. Third base is being taken. Fjant will soon have the gas for link speed. Reaper has arrived, dancing with the army. And it's going to be zoned away. So far, so good. Behind this battle, we're going for a third CC before starport. Economic build, economic opener here out of our Terran player. And from here, we can settle in. Sorry, just airing out the room a little bit. It's summer, pappy. It's hot. It is hot here in Australia. But here we go. We do have the initial Reaper harass behind this. We do have interesting. Not what I expected. It was a third CC, that is true, but we have a very fast second Rax. So this looks like a 3CC 211. This is going to be a very aggressive build with very biocentric as well. What does this mean? This means no starport. This means no Banshee, which I'm not opposed to. If you recall, last game the Banshee follow-up didn't really do any damage, right? The Hellions, they wreaked havoc, that is true, but the Banshees, they did not really pay for themselves. They got like 1 drone kill at most. The Banshee harass was lackluster for BattleB, and this time he just won't have any Banshees. Instead, faster stim into a bio move out with medevac support. So 3CC211 out of BattleB. Meanwhile, we do get link speed. Fjant did open up in a much more standard fashion, but that is going to be an earlier Roach Horn out of Fjant, so he is still going to be embracing Roach production. You see BattleB going to be rotating over. Heads towards the natural. Queens are trying to keep up, but BattleB, he does dive in. Yeah, he avoids the queens. Where are the lings? He skipped the lings. No lings to defend. Big supply block here for Fjant, and the drones are going to be going down. So far, 4 worker kills at the natural. Good body blocking with the queen, but the drones are lining up. No! Oh my god, massive hit of 17! 17 drones gonna be falling. Oh my god, that might just be game. That's the entire mineral line. That's 16 drones per mineral line. That's 17 workers going down. Ay, ay, ay. The Hellions, they get cornered, but that is game-ending damage. No. And again, this is the risk you take when you play like this, when you skip lings. Now, what I will say, I do have to put a little bit more onus on Fjant here, because unlike the previous game, he researched link speed. Like, link speed is done. You can see there in the top left, he did research link speed, which means he should have had links to defend, but even though he researched it, he didn't make any links. Didn't make any links, so there was nothing here to support the queens, nothing here to body block, nothing here to buy time, nothing here to defend, and Fjant once again gets punished for his greed. So he does get punished. Meanwhile, Fjant's going for a counterattack. At the same time, BattleB moving out with a double drop. Not much of him to defend, but the roaches are revealed, and BattleB, he has a choice here. Does he turn around? He does not. No fear whatsoever. He's moving out across the map. The roaches, they're looking to knock down that front door, and they can. This is a risky move out here out of BattleB, but I mean, he also knows that there's nothing across the map. There's nothing at him to defend. And drones are going to go down. Queens as well. Roaches, they do bust into the mineral line. And we're going for almost a pseudo-base trade. Boys are being pulled. There are a couple of Marines to defend. At the same time, Roach Warren's going to go down. Massive pickup. Yeah, no more Roach production, no more Ravager production either for Fjant. Overlord's going down. Big supply block. Yeah, Fjant, he can't make anything else. Does manage to squeeze out a couple of roaches. Meanwhile, across the map, the roaches have been cleaned up. BattleB defends. We'll lose 17 SCVs. Jesus, that is a lot of workers going down. So was this worth it here for BattleB? I mean, he didn't kill that many drones. Fjant, he now takes a 10-worker lead, and again, that should not have happened. 17 SCV kills is insane. So Fjant, okay, he's back in this. He is very much so back in this. May you kill my mineral line, I'll kill yours. And again, BattleB, he made the choice to not turn back around and race back home. He made the choice not to defend. But alas, upon sniping that Roach Warren and upon the economic damage, he has slowed Fjant down. This lair is very late. This is almost a 7-minute lair for Fjant. Ay, very late lair timing. What does that mean? That means late Roach speed, late upgrades, late tech in general. So even though the supplies are similar, I mean, it does lie quite a bit here. Like Fjant, he's still struggling to recover. Struggling to build back up. Lorax is being turned down. 1-1 on the way for BattleB. Fjant doesn't really have the economy to sustain any upgrades right now. Getting into Ling Roach. BattleB moving out. Does move out. Trading with the army, takes out all the Lings. Most of them, I should say. And BattleB is going for a split push. And Fjant, he's still trying to re-drone. He's still droning, he still barely has a standing army, he's still stuck with slow roaches. Fjant is being split apart. And there's a cancellation on the 4th base. And really that's all that BattleB has to do, just deny the 4th. Deny the 4th over and over again. Oh, he killed the critter! No! BattleB! Does take down the critter. Running and diving into the mineral line. Getting a couple of drone kills. A couple of workers are going down. I say a couple, 11 drones falling. Meanwhile, double drop into the main, going for the add-ons or upgrades even. Full medevac goes down. Nice pick off here out of Fjant. But that's still 11 more drones going down and an Evo chamber. Back at home, BattleB building up. Oh, right, I forgot. Right. Oh no, I forgot about that. Of course, for those that remember, I mean, it did occur, what, a month ago at this point, less than a month ago. HomeStory Cup, if you remember, unfortunately was plagued by latency issues, by specifically connectivity issues, and the internet was dropping non-stop throughout that weekend, which did affect the broadcast and did affect the games. True. Yeah, I forgot about that. So that may also be a factor in some of these games that we cover when it comes to pauses and when it comes to moments like that. But true, that is another factor coming into play. It was just really unfortunate that that plagued HomeStory Cup, despite the fact that there were some really good matches and really good players, of course, taking part and getting involved, and of course the first event of the new patch. If you remember, the patch went live like the week of HomeStory Cup, a couple of days prior, actually. Here we go, BattleB's going for a split push. Trying to break through the roaches. Meanwhile, Fjant will take this fight towards the south, but at the same time, the third base is going to go down. Nothing to defend. The Queen falls up mineral line as well. And even though Fjant is barely holding on one end, he's falling apart on the other. As he will lose the hatchery. Or at least he should. Gets a Queen. Gets the Queen, gets the expansion. Army is a bit overstimmed. Fjant attempting to go for his own counterattack, but back at home, I mean, BattleB should have reinforcements, and he does. Roaches a push in. BattleB, he responds. SCVs are going to get picked up. But this is the army here of Fjant. It's not just a harassing force, like, this is all he has. And it goes down. Fjant back at home is stuck on 3 bases. BattleB getting a 4th, and not just a 4th, the gold. It is going for the gold. Here we go. BattleB's moving up. Watch it live too. It was pretty rough. Yeah, I mean, hey, we casted it live. True. We were there. As BattleB does push forward, once again going for the split push. And because BattleB's only fighting with half his army, Fjant is going to be able to barely, no, not even. He's not even going to be able to hold on here. The Ravagers go down, the Roaches as well. And BattleB, he breaks through. GG gets called, and BattleB takes the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. I feel like we have a similar tale to tell when it comes to Game 1 and Game 2. That is, Fjant cutting corners and being greedy, and Fjant getting punished for it. We saw the extreme version of that here in Game 2, with BattleB getting into the mineral line and killing 17 drones. 17 workers went down. It was insane how much damage was dealt, and with that, he just took a lead. You could make an argument, of course, that, hey, in the retaliation and the counterattack, BattleB also lost 17 SCVs as well. That is true, but if you remember, it wasn't just BattleB losing 17 SCVs, it was also BattleB counterattacking, getting more economic damage, sniping some tech, trading with the army. BattleB was still ahead in the aftermath of that damage, and with that, BattleB does take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. BattleB does claim the initial series, and that is going to lead us here into some more BattleB action. As I revealed earlier, when we were casting this live, we were designated all of Fjant's matches, so we casted all of Fjant's matches essentially. The mainstream, we're not going to be covering any matches covered on the mainstream. They have you covered there. We are just going to be covering the matches that were never broadcasted, and that was all of BattleB's games. So BattleB takes down Fjant 2-0, and up next we have BattleB versus Lambo in another ZVT. Let's go. Let us go.